One vase shattered, he thought no one would notice. Turned out a whole life cracked with it. The Broken Vase. Martin hated Mondays. The morning stretched like cold rubber, and the hangover pressed harder on his temples than the vacuum cleaner in his hands. The Bloomington house met him with sterile silence, toothpaste-colored carpets, glass in frames, furniture worth more than his car. Every trinket stood straight, lined up like soldiers, staring at him as if he were already guilty. He wiped the table and thought life was nothing but endless cleaning. Other people's dust you sweep away, your own you carry inside. His hand brushed past a slim pedestal. It wobbled as if reconsidering, too late. A sharp crackle. The vase, tall, gilded vine curling along its side, splintered into jagged petals. The sound sliced through the house like foil torn with a knife. Martin froze. Even the fridge seemed to pause, savoring it. "Damn," he said. The word sounded like a report, short, hopeless. He dropped to his knees, his fingers trembled. One shard cut near his nail, blood seeping out. A red drop hit the white carpet, spreading pink. A thought surfaced. He'd hidden the truth once before. Years ago, he'd signed a write-up under his partner's name to keep his own shift. The partner got fired. Shame stayed. He swept the shards with his palm like April snow pushed aside. The trash bag rustled greedily. In went tissues, the homeowner's empty Coke can, perfect company for porcelain that was unbreakable. The knot tightened like a noose around his career. In the corner, the camera's red light blinked twice, precise. Martin exhaled. Now it was a film. Cleaner ruins his own life in 10 seconds. Free tickets, the jury all lawyers. He sank onto the sofa and lit a cigarette. The company's rules banned even the thought of smoking, but in Bloomington, rules were like stop signs. People slowed, then kept going. Smoke curled up and hit the ceiling sensor. He pictured the owner's wife coming back. She'd see the bare pedestal. Ask her husband, "Where's the vase?" He'd ask her, "Where's the money?" Then family math would begin, minus trust, minus respect, minus dishes if they were lucky. "Maybe they won't notice," he muttered. He didn't believe it himself. In houses like this, they noticed dust that hadn't even been invented. The vacuum roared. The bag of shards lay by the door like a dog that knew it was about to be thrown out. Martin looked at it and decided the day had already hit bottom. He was wrong. He stepped over the cord, listened to the silence, and remembered breaking his mother's plate as a kid. He'd hidden the pieces under potato pilings. Found an hour later. She'd said, "Better if you'd confessed." Since then, he'd often chosen the trash bag over the truth. Habit like nicotine. At the door, he noticed the camera's timestamp. 4:27 p.m. The digits glowed red like a seal. Martin dropped the bag beside it as if signing a sentence. Claire came home at 4:30. The white pharmacist coat hung over her arm. The grocery bag dragged her down. Her heels tapped against the tiles, rattling glass shelves. She walked through the living room and saw it right away. The pedestal stood there, but without the vase it looked as bare as a man without pants. She stopped, tightened her grip on the bag. Something cracked inside, but she ignored it. Tom sat at his laptop. The screen glowed with spreadsheets, his fingers chasing numbers like his life depended on them. He was a financial manager with the permanent fatigue of someone counting other people's money while hiding his own. "Where's the vase?" she asked, her voice flat like asking for a recipe. Tom looked up, irritation in his eyes, not surprise. "What vase?" "The one with the gold pattern. It stood here." He shrugged. In their marriage, that meant, "I know more than I'll say." "Tom," Claire narrowed her eyes, "did you take it?" "Crazy. Think I'm hawking porcelain on eBay." She set the bag down. The milk jug tilted. I got a notice. She showed him her phone. The line read, "Cash due Friday, no delays, your debt's not mine." Tom snapped the laptop shut. Coffee spilled, leaving a dark crescent on the table. "Don't, those are work issues." "You already dragged us into your work issues." She jabbed a finger at the empty pedestal. "If you sold that vase to cover a hole, say it." Ethan sat at the kitchen island, headphones on, notebook open. Looked like gaming, but his pencil moved, scribbling the words snap and drawing wavy lines like sound. He heard every word, writing as if it were a lesson. Claire moved closer. "Do you get that I don't believe a word you say anymore?" Tom stood, pulled out his wallet, slapped it on the table. "Cash empty. If I'd wanted to sell something, I'd sell the car." "The car's yours," Claire said quietly. "The vase was ours." Silence spread across the room. Only Ethan kept sketching lines. Later, when Claire phoned her friend, her tone stayed calm. "Imagine, Tom probably sold the vase." The friend gasped with delight. In a small town, other people's mess was the best series. Tom, left alone, wiped the coffee with a napkin. The crescent stayed. His hand shook, dialing the card on the counter. Howley, private investigations. In Bloomington, private detectives were like soda machines, old, rusty, always nearby. Tom found the card in a newspaper, wedged between a sofa sale and a missing dog ad. Printed, "Richard Howley, I uncover the truth." In pen, someone had added, "Cash only." Howley arrived the next day. A 90s Ford Taurus, paint peeling to gray metal. He wore a rumpled coat, carried a scuffed leather satchel more like a filing box than a tool. His eyes were heavy, tired, the squint of a man trained to notice what others miss. Once a cop, but he didn't like to recall it. In his memory sat one error, a lost piece of evidence that buried a big case. He de-quit, but since then every cut, every scratch stood out to him with manic sharpness. "The vase," he said, scanning the room. The pedestal stood like a question mark. "When did you notice it gone?" "Yesterday, 4:30, Claire answered. Howley crouched, checked the corner where the camera blinked. Rewound footage. On the screen, Martin with a trash bag. He rolled it back, forward, slowed it. "That man's carrying garbage," but he lined in. No big shards in the bag, just crumbs. Tom and Claire exchanged looks. "Who is he?" Howley asked. "Our cleaner, Martin," Tom said. Howley jotted it down. His fingers moved slow, no theatrics. He liked facts, not show. "Was the vase worth much?" "10 grand, Claire said. Howley nodded. On the table, a letter peeked out from under Tom's laptop. "Due Friday," stamped in bold. Howley clocked it silently. Coincidences like that rarely were. "One straight question," he said. "Who had a reason to turn that vase into money?" Tom winced but said nothing. Claire folded her arms. Howley shut the notebook. "I'll need your cleaning roster and access to the supply room to see who was where when." He rose, his coat shifted, showing a scar slashed across his hand. He touched it, then looked at the frozen frame of Martin on screen. A fresh cut glowed red by his nail. The detail stuck in Howley's head like that lost piece of evidence years ago, one he swore never to miss again. Howley set the meeting at the cleaning company office. The room smelled of cheap chemicals and failed dreams. Martin walked in wearing a wrinkled uniform, eyes red not from work but from bar nights. He knew right away whatever he said would turn against him. Silence was worse. "The vase," Howley started direct. "Where is it?" Martin looked away, the cut by his nail still raw. He shoved his hands in pockets as if the answer lay there. His thoughts fought, tell the truth, get fired, lie, drag someone else down, already on probation. No second chances. The pause stretched. I think it was Jerry, he said. Howley lifted an eyebrow. Jerry. He always takes stuff. Martin's voice sounded strange even to him. Jerry, his co-worker, lunch beer guy, sure, but also a son caring for a sick mother. He did haul things home, leftovers, supplies, easy to frame. Howley wrote his name. So a colleague, sticky fingers. Martin nodded, his fingers trembled. He grabbed a plastic cup, squeezed till it squeaked, about to crack. The door opened, Jerry stuck his head in, sweaty, an energy drink in hand. What's this, a meeting? Martin nearly dropped the cup. He forced a reply. Yeah, about your neatness. Jerry shrugged and left. Howley closed the notebook. That'll do, he said. When the meeting ended, Martin stepped outside. Snow crunched, air sliced his lungs, his phone buzzed, unknown number, he answered. Friday's close, a male voice said, then cut off. Martin froze, phone in hand. The world went quieter. A lie, like a loan, had just gathered interest. The family had been splitting long before the vase hit the floor. Now everyone could hear it. That evening a car pulled up, headlights flashed, then died, engine idled, then stopped. Tom looked out, stepped outside. The mailbox dented, the rear tire slashed. On the door someone had chalked 2 words, by Fry. Tom brushed his hand over it, white dust sticking, wiped on his jeans, the mark stayed. Inside, Claire found a bank notice. Red letters, overdue. Beside it, the phone blinked, collector. She waited at the door for Tom. You took another loan, behind my back. Tom glanced at the paper. Temporary, had to fill the gap or they'd crush us. You moved money from our joint account. She laid the statement down. I see it. He pressed his temples. If the contract had gone through, we'd be fine. Contract, she pointed at the empty pedestal. You think I don't see? The vase didn't just vanish. It's a litmus test we've been cracking for years. Tom snapped. I didn't touch it, but if I had sold it, it would have at least kept them off our backs. The phone blinked again, unknown caller. Tom clenched his fist. Ethan stood in the kitchen doorway, notebook in hand, snap scrawled across the page. You're both lying, he said, then slammed his door. Claire set a mug in the sink, ceramic split, sound sharp. Tom hit the table with his fist, wood groaning. Next day, 3 notices arrived. An email, disciplinary review, a summons from Jerry's lawyer, an internal audit letter. Papers stacked on the table beside the crescent coffee stain that never faded. The firm's building felt like a clinic, linoleum, buzzing lights, stale coffee in the hall. Cleaners sat avoiding eyes. Inside, a long table, 3 across, lawyer, HR, outside auditor. On the sides, Martin with a free counsel attorney, Jerry with a rep. The auditor opened a folder. Case file, small claim suit for defamation plus firm trust issues. Jerry's side first. Jerry's rep kept it brief. Martin's accusations cost him shifts, income, demands recognition of slander. Papers set in a pile. Howley, brought as consultant, played the footage. On screen, Martin sweeping Shards, carrying the bag. Mr. Hale, exact time, the auditor asked. Martin wiped his forehead. 4:30, 27, no, 29. Pause on screen, timestamp 4:27, recorded. The firm's lawyer nodded, no theft proof, but public chatter already damaged reputation. Clients spooked. HR asked the last question. Any chance of reconciliation? Jerry dropped his eyes. I need work, not apologies. The panel left 10 minutes, returned with 1 page. Decision: both contracts terminated. Severance minimal, no recommendations. Jerry's pen clinked, signed fast. Martin signed slow, letters shaking. A week later, the company folded. 2 big clients gone, others walked. Cleaning carts hauled to storage, vacuums sold off cheap. Nobody wanted staff from the Vase scandal. Jerry's payout covered rent and meds for his mother. Martin hit job ads each time: janitor, folders closed. Tom moved into an apartment by the highway, window to parking lot, trucks for radio. Claire stayed in the house, stopped setting 2 pillows. The coffee crescent on the table stayed forever. The epilogue came in a photo. The local paper ran a front page, empty pedestal. No people, no caption. Piled free at gas stations, wrapped hot dogs. Emptiness stared from print like a room without a vase. Bloomington tired of the story fast. First on supermarket lots, then in salons, then DMV lines. A month later, only residue. Remember that Vase thing? Yeah, they split. That firm closed. Small towns live off other people's mess, but chew it fast like gum with no taste. Martin jobless, Jerry drank more. The family split across town. The paper that screamed white-collar crooks now wrapped hot dogs at the gas station. And the Vase, the shards went to landfill with the trash bag, but rumors said a drifter picked them up, tried gluing them on a bench by the river, came out crooked, seems lighter than porcelain. When the wind blew, inside you could hear a faint tick, a ghost of the snap. In Bloomington, they fix things crooked. They hold until they don't.